All right, welcome in. It's time for Total Bases. It's a new week. It's Monday morning. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We had kind of a good weekend. We did a show on Saturday. We cashed our parlay to put us back in the plus for the parlay, the show parlay, which is daily on this show. If you're new to this show, hang around to the end, and the three of us give out a three-teamer. That is now ahead on the year after winning on Saturday. I bounced back and went 4-1, I think, over the weekend after losing a 5%er on Friday. So I'm pretty happy about that. Hope you guys had a good weekend as well. Tokyo Brandon, I'll start with you. We have, I think it was Brian maybe that alluded to the Dodgers-Padres rivalry almost being bigger than Dodgers-Giants now, one of the bigger ones in the sport. Maybe not so much because these two teams dislike each other, but they've certainly been two of the better teams in baseball going on a little bit more than half a decade now. So this game definitely has some juice, without a doubt. Tonight it's at Petco Park, which is one of the best environments in baseball regardless. And certainly when the Dodgers come to town, they are going to show up for that series. So Dodgers-Padres to you, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, I got a 5% play out today in Major League Baseball. You can get a double play with me and one of these gentlemen. And lots of deals at WagerTalk.com. I went 4-1 yesterday in MLB, so I was pretty happy. It was a good weekend for me. So regarding these two teams, the reason this is becoming more of a rivalry is because the Padres are actually challenging the Dodgers every year to win the NL West and coming pretty darn close. I remember the last 2 years, it's come down to like the last 3 or 4 games before the Dodgers secured that championship. You know, the Dodgers don't really care about the regular season. They just want to get into the playoffs, obviously. You know, they're pegged to win 103, 110, 105 games every year, and they don't do it. They haven't even won 100 games in the last couple of years. So, yeah, Michael King, what a great acquisition from the Yankees, yeah. He's been pitching great, but his numbers against the Dodgers, not too good in his career. And 106 at-bats against, a 283 average and a 916 OPS. And Yamamoto, he's a Cy Young candidate, but he struggles against the Padres big time. He's got 61 at-bats in his career, 295 average and a 916 OPS. So both of these guys are about 150 to 200 points over on my comfortable OPS 750 line. I think we're going to see some runs here. Bullpens are better than average for both teams in current form. So that scares me a little bit, but I think we're going to see some runs here. I don't think it's going to be that pitching duel 1-0, 3-1 kind of game. I think it's going to be one of those 5-3, 7-6 kind of games. That's how I'm seeing it.
Okay. Mike Scott, I see you in the chat. We'll go to that game next, but I guess a quick segue here. So Brian, the Padres sweep the Eddie Vedder Pearl Jam Cup over the weekend. Another one that I simply just did not know was a rivalry, but has been forced into rivalry weekend. And so, you know, it was a pretty big deal. That was Sunday Night Baseball last night. Padres get that win to pull off the sweep. Now they've got to turn around and they come back home. Is that entering into your sort of handicap at all? Is there a little bit of a letdown? It's tough to let down when you're playing the Dodgers, but interesting dynamic. How do you see this?
Yeah, I agree. I was just checking that to see how far the travel was. Yeah, you've got in this one Yamamoto against King. Right now, Yamamoto and the Dodgers about a 145 favorite, 7.5. Yeah, I was looking at some of the players for the Dodgers. I know Mookie Betts is just back to the lineup, but he and Ohtani have really done very well against King. These players know each other very well. They're division rivals, and as was pointed out, they're the two teams that have been the best in this division for a while. I still think there's a lot of hatred with San Francisco with the Dodgers. So I still think that's the best. Somebody in the chat mentioned that San Diego is becoming a big rival. Everybody's a big rival for the Dodgers. But is it a big rival for the Dodgers players? everybody wants to beat the best, and that's why the Yankees have been so hated so much in the American League for so long. But yeah, two great pitchers. Yamamoto's not quite as good lately as he's been in the past, and the bullpens are in pretty good shape here. If I am looking to see some runs, I may see some more runs in the first 5. Let's see what we're getting here for the first 5. We're looking at
Probably 3.5, isn't it?
4.5.
Wow.
Which is more than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it may be a 3.5, but
with Yamamoto, that's surprising.
Yeah, so you got to have 5 in the first 5 to get that over. They're really giving a lot of credit to that San Diego bullpen, I guess. And they're well deserved. I saw something saying ninth or somebody sent out something and I retweeted it, but I don't remember who it was from. But they had the 9th inning ERAs of every team, and this was just a few days ago. And San Diego's was 0.5 because they've got Miller coming in every time they're winning. And there's teams like Washington and Baltimore, some others that are like 7. So it tells you how bad their back ends are. That's on the season so far. But yeah, San Diego's bullpen has been great. I believe they have the advantage in the second half of this game. So the way I would play it is look for it live. If you could find San Diego after 5 innings in a tie game or a game they're down by 1 or something, maybe play San Diego live the rest of the game and get a little bit of an advantage there. I know the Dodgers got a lot of big name pitchers in the back of the bullpen. It seems now that their closer may never pitch again. That's something kind of crazy. But the Dodgers can always bring people in at the end of the season. But right now, it would not surprise me if San Diego can win this game. It's not often I want to go against Yamamoto, but I do like the San Diego bullpen in the second half of the game. Like I said, live is probably the way I would look at it right now.
Going to pull up a comment from Colin Gregory here because I had a very similar thought this morning. He says you can get the Blue Jays, Padres, and Brewers all at +1.5. It's like actually more like -130. A lot of places, like 3 teams that I think we consider to be like pretty quality baseball teams, especially the Padres and the Brewers. It was it was a little jarring to me as well to see that and be like, oh, Brewers, you can basically get the run pretty cheap. Padres, you can get the run pretty cheap. I guess the Jays, I kind of expected seeing as they're on the road at the Yankees. But the other 2, Padres, Brewers, I had a very similar thought. I also, Brian, share a similar thought to you in the respect that I think the Padres care about this rivalry more than the Dodgers do. I think you want to go back in the last few years when the Padres have been good, when AJ Preller started really going for it, spending the money, trying to do anything under his power to make them a contender. The fans at like Petco Park will probably be sold out. It might be, I don't know if a Monday night is going to sell out, but certainly like this series always almost comes close to selling out. They have playoff atmospheres for this game at Petco during the regular season. All things that it definitely matter to me. I don't know if that's going to like put me on a bet like just because of that. But, you know, normally you're coming off a Sunday night baseball. Maybe you're in a flat spot. I don't think the Padres are like in a flat spot here at home against the Dodgers, quote unquote, best team in baseball coming to town. They just worked out the Mariners for three straight games, right? So they're coming in with momentum. Tokyo Brandon, you talked about Michael King. Of course, Michael King was, I believe they got him in the same trade they got Randy Vasquez in from the Yankees for Juan Soto. I think the Padres probably feel like they're doing okay in that deal at this point. You're right. He has been great. You know, really good mix of fastball, off speed. He's getting a ton of ground balls. No one's squaring him up. When he's been on in the past, you know, I remember, I want to say it was either maybe 2 playoffs ago when he was in his best form. And I mean, I think we were like all sort of starting to look at Michael King as a potential ace. And then he had a little bit of regression. Point is, you're getting the Padres, you're getting a run. You're getting them at home. You're probably going to have a great atmosphere. They're playing good ball, and you're getting Michael King. And you can get a 1.5 at like a reasonable price. Colin, I kind of feel like I'm in agreement with you. I would take the Padres plus the 1.5. -130 or less is not a bad price for that. All right. Well, if no one has anything to add to that, I got to get my guy Mike Scott in here. Mike, I do think I did hit. I mean, you may have dropped off the show. The other day when you asked for Mariners, I did get to it at the end of the show, but I missed your comment early in the show. So we got to make sure you get in here. First of all, thank you very much for the donation. It's much appreciated. It helps the show, as does any likes, any subscribes, any comments on the replay. If you're watching this show live on one of our various platforms and you miss any part of it, it is always on demand on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So check out the replay. And even if you've watched the whole show live, head on over there, drop us a comment. It really does help the show. Tokyo Brandon, I'll go back to you. The Mariners got swept at home over the weekend. They were probably inflated from a price standpoint in every single one of those games. And they didn't win a single one of those games. Lost all 3 to the Padres, including Sunday Night Baseball last night as a pretty big favorite. So Mariners, every time they get close to 500 and I come on the show and say, hey, they might be ready to turn the corner. They might be starting to become the team that I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year that contends for the American League. They go out and they do something like they did over the weekend. What do we think about that? Because the Mariners, they're going to continue to be overpriced. Are you going to continue to bet against them, or do you think they figure it out at some point?
Not only were they underpriced, but oppositely, the White Sox were underpriced their whole series against the Cubs as well. And they battled pretty well. If you watch them play against the Cubs, if you just put one team in a white uniform and one team in a black uniform with no logos, you would think the White Sox were the better team of those two. Absolutely. So, vice versa. The White Sox are playing lights out right now. Murakami's looking great. He's looking like the 2 years ago. I went and actually, Murakami played for the Yakult Swallows, which is the closest stadium to my house. So I went and watched about 6 of his games when he won the home run crown here 2 years ago. So he's looking like that. He's looking really good. Last year he was injured, so he didn't have a very good year. So bullpens, I got both of these bullpens pretty mediocre. I got Wu, the better pitcher than Schultz, but Wu has not looked as good as he normally does. But if you look at his walk rate, man, he's not walking anyone. He's got great command and control when he's there. And his numbers against these batters, 22 at-bats, granted it's a small sample size, but a 136 average with a 527 OPS, that is something you can hang your hat on. Those are wonderful stats. So the question to me is, do you think Seattle's going to be able to hit Schultz? If you don't think Seattle's going to be able to hit today, definitely an under would be in play, because I don't think the White Sox are going to score very much. I think they're going to score 2 or less runs in this game. So an under might be the way I would go. Brian Wu, I expect him to have a really good game. I expect him to go 6 innings at least, which is 18 outs recorded. So that's how I see this game. Seattle's another one of those teams. They're probably my number 2 hated team to bet, because on paper they look so great, and they barf on the mound quite a bit. Not as much as the Padres, but they're my number 2 albatross team.
Brian, what do you think about this? Because again, the Mariners, it just seems like every night I've saved a ton of money. The books have saved me so much money this year, pricing the Mariners where they have, because if they were in playable prices, I'd be on them in every one of these games. But I can't bet them because they're already so much more expensive than they should be. What do you make of that, Mariners White Sox?
Before I get to handicapping the game, one little note about Tokyo Brandon. When he moved to Japan, he was some of his first dates. He would choose them by the girls walking down the street with a jersey on that says Swallows. Anyway,
I chose him by other means, but I'm not going to share that.
As I get fined from WagerTalk for a sexual joke. Anyway, the White Sox. Yeah, the White Sox. You would think there might be some sort of a letdown if you're playing the Cubs, but I really think this team, a young team right now, they're finding success where they haven't found it the last few years. They're excited about coming to the ballpark every day. The only question I have here is that bullpen. Really, their key guys in the bullpen all had to go yesterday. Sir Anthony Dominguez had to go 32 pitches, blew the save. They had 5 of their last top six guys in the bullpen all had to pitch yesterday. That is a concern here when they're traveling here to play a pretty good team in Seattle. Although it is a pitcher's ballpark, we've mentioned that many times. I really like the way everybody in the lineup has been hitting for the White Sox. Even Andrew Benintendi is finding some success, and he was basically written off earlier in the season. I like everything that they do. Seattle's a team, they've just been disappointing. When you get a team comes into the season expecting to be one of the contenders, and you've got so many guys that have had disappointing seasons, and now your catcher, your guy that hit 60 home runs or whatever last year, he's hurt, and he's hurt for a while. It's got to affect you. They did bring up Cole Emerson yesterday. I'll give them that. They brought him up, but they've got, Crawford got hit by a pitch yesterday. He might not play it today. They don't know at this point. And they have some other guys that have been hurt. So, I'm glad they brought up Emerson. At least we get a chance to see him a little bit. He's playing third base right now. But anytime one good thing happens for the Seattle, something bad seems to happen. And that's a team right now. Their bullpen is in great shape when it comes to this game. None of the top 3 guys, the best 3 bullpen arms, pitched the last couple of days. So they're in good shape. But you take a look at the guys that are injured right now: Cal Raleigh, Brendan Donovan, the big offseason signing. Robles has been out for about the whole year, and they got some problems. Matt Brash has been looking great in his tune-up games. He'll be back. Spire's hurt, but they've had some injury problems. But I can't, as much as I like Brian Wu, I can't leave this number. We're looking at 170 here with a total of 7. Against Schultz, the lefty. Schultz has been, I guess you could say Schultz has been somewhat of a disappointment because they thought he was going to be something special. I think he's pitched really one really good game. Other than that, it's been a little bit off for him. But even at that price, you're getting 150, 155 in some places to get the White Sox here. That would be the way that I would go in this one. And the White Sox are live. They've been live for a while now, and luckily we've been taking advantage of it.
Just remember the Johnny Knoxville used to wear that Swallows jersey during the Jackass days. Like that was like a key part of his wardrobe. Always wore it. That's of course there in Japan, right? That's a team name we're talking about here. So everyone calm down.
Murakami's team was the Swallows. Yeah.
Yeah. Believe is that one of the Tokyo-based teams, TB?
Yes. Right near my house, actually. It's the closest one.
I know a little bit about it. I don't watch it religiously like KBO, but I do know a little bit about the NPB. Yeah. It's very, very basic. I'll tell you what I do know about. Obviously, watch a lot of minor league baseball. You talked about Robles. He walked it off for Tacoma yesterday. It was my only play. I won the game. Kind of thinking like, all right, let's get him back up here, right? Like, he's still been down on what's kind of been a lengthy rehab at AAA. I don't know why he's still down there. I mean, he's hit the ball. Like, I don't know. I was surprised, part of the reason I played Tacoma yesterday was he was still in the lineup. And then if you bet AAA baseball, you'll understand the dreaded hugs in the dugout. And you look over and it's like 2 minutes before the game and they're hugging Cole Emerson when you thought he was going to be in the lineup, but now he's not. He's on his way to Seattle. That happened to me yesterday. It didn't matter because Tacoma won. Point I'm trying to make, though, is, he's in the lineup last night for Seattle. I'm now starting to look at the Seattle lineup. Brian, you said it. No Donovan. He got hurt. Cal Raleigh, he's now hurt. Kind of looking like Tacoma's lineup from last year. A little too much for me, right? Like suddenly you pull up the Mariners lineup. Cole Young, Dominic Canzone, a backup catcher. Maybe you got Leo Rivas out there at second base. Now you got Cole Emerson. So, Luke Raley, who bounced, kind of was down, at the minors a little bit last year too. The point I'm trying to make there is when you get past Crawford, J-Rod, Naylor, or Rosarena, really looks like a AAA lineup at this point. It was essentially Tacoma's lineup last year. Like those bottom 5 were AAA guys last year. And the reason that's so important is this team continues to get priced as the team that was 1 game away from the World Series last year, and they are not that. And so I think over the weekend, if you were able to play against them, you had a good weekend backing the Padres. I don't know if this is the best spot to do it, but certainly the value is with the White Sox here, who continue to play good ball. I agree with TB. You cover those jerseys up over the weekend, Cubs, White Sox. White Sox were just as good, in my opinion. They played great ball, and they continue to be undervalued. So I would have to find a way to bet the White Sox here.
And the Seattle pitching, supposedly being their strength, they're showing some cracks in their armor as well. Kirby looked awful. So, their rotation on paper is one of the best in MLB, but they're not performing very well right now.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, you just assume when you see, like, it's like George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, like, you're just like, oh, that's a quality start. That's 6 or 7 innings, one or two runs. And it's not that they're pitching terribly, but it definitely hasn't been that. And if they're not going to hit, if you're not going to hit and you're going to give up 3 runs, maybe 4, this is why the Mariners continue to find themselves behind in these games, I think, which makes their bullpen less effective. If you're always behind, then your leverage arms are not as effective as if you always have a lead. Something we talked about with the Red Sox as well. All right, a lot of people, Brian, I'm going back to you. A lot of people want to know what your Guardians are going to look like against the Tigers today. This game is also national TV here in the States. This is Fox Sports 1. So Guardians, Tigers to you, Brian Leonard.
Yeah, I'm out here in Las Vegas. We've had like 70-mile-an-hour winds all night long. I'm afraid to look outside to see what is falling on everybody's cars. But the wind is really bad today. If you take a look at Wrigley Field, wind is blowing out, and it should be pretty warm. Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City is really, the wind is blowing out, and it's sunny, high pressure. I mean, there could be a lot of home runs there. And since the ballpark for Philadelphia has been blowing out, in fact, a lot of these teams are the wind's blowing out. The only one that's really not is in T-Mobile Park, Seattle, the game we just spoke about. But Cleveland, out of nowhere, hit 6 home runs yesterday, scored double-digit runs. Cleveland hasn't hit 6 home runs in a week sometimes. And just to get 6 in one game, that wind was blowing out yesterday, or I don't know what it was, but that ball was flying to right center. Detroit's a team that needs a victory bad, especially against Cleveland. Detroit's struggling right now. And this is an interesting matchup. Cleveland's got probably my least favorite starter out of Slate Ciccone on the mound. Although I believe last time he went out, he was really good. He's rated 58th over the last 2 weeks in baseball in pitching, so he did very well last time. The best arms in the Cleveland bullpen are all available in this one. And from a hitting standpoint, for once, Cleveland's looked like they've been very good the last 7 days. But we will see. Even Patrick Bailey chipped in a hit yesterday, and this has got to be with Patrick Bailey and in their backup catcher. It's got to be one of the worst hitting catchers in baseball, with Austin Hedges, and even use David Fry at catcher once in a while. Yeah, they need a catcher that can hit. I'm still waiting on that. But we're looking at Detroit. Detroit's a team that's struggling right now, and they're going to be using Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez is the better pitcher, no doubt about it, but he has not pitched well lately. He's had some of his mental problems, which he has had in the past. Whatever, trying to hit people and that kind of thing. Bullpen looks like it should be an okay situation. Kenley Jansen pitched 2 of the last 3 days, but not yesterday. Finnegan's in good shape. They brought back Will Vest from the IL. Hopefully they don't throw him right into a real key situation his first game back. I talked about that the other day for somebody, and they got bombed. You got to give him a chance to come back from that IL. You don't want to throw him right back into that. But from a hitting standpoint, Detroit's top of the order, starting to hit a little bit. The bottom half is still struggling. Spencer Torkelson is really hurting right now. They got to send him back down to the minors or do something to get him back on track, because he's such a key to this offense, and he has not been good at all. And we're looking at it right now. Valdez is about a 145 favorite, total of 8. I like Detroit's starting pitcher. I think it's a pretty solid edge there. But back end of their lineup isn't hitting. total is 8. So I'd lean at the under in this one. I think Cleveland reverts back to their normal bats a little bit today. And I don't trust Detroit bats right now. And Cleveland's going against the lefty. They've hit lefties well this year, but their team has a lot of left-handed hitters. Eventually, that's going to come back to haunt them, sort of like the Washington situation, or not the Washington, the Miami situation that we talked about, all season long. So yeah, give me the under here, and I think the bullpens are in pretty good shape, and I really like Valdez over Cleveland. He's a crafty guy, and I think Cleveland will have some problems with him.
I can see that. TB Slate Cicconi's a guy that I feel like has shown up at the bottom of some of our both of our sort of pitching rankings, pitching lists. I went as far as to say I couldn't believe he was still in a big league rotation. His ERA is in the mid fives, a WHIP of 1.58. I don't think I'm really wrong about that. I think you had Ciccone as a bottom 5 in the league at one point earlier this year. So is it just as simple as taking the Tigers, laying a bit of a juice here with what is clearly the better starting pitcher?
Guys, WagerTalk's doing tons of specials. You can get a double play, 2 of us for 3 days. Huge discount. Or you can get 1 capper at WagerTalk for 3 days, 30% off. Great deals. And I have a 5% play out today, which you can grab. Framber Valdez, he's one of those guys, his teammates hate him wherever he goes. Nobody likes a pitcher who goes out there and puts his hitters in danger. Nobody likes that. And he doesn't do it under instruction. He does it and everyone's like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Teammates hate those people. But when you're a pitcher, it doesn't really matter if you're hated by your teammates because you're only making an appearance once a week and you don't really hang out with them in the locker room. So he's a talented pitcher, but he either is really on or really off. And the other day, he was really off. What did he give up? 9 runs in 3 innings the other day? He was tipping his pitches, and he just had a horrible game. Made a little bit of a comeback in the start after that. So he has great numbers against the Guardians. So do you trust Detroit? Well, both bullpens, I have them ranked both 12 right now out of 30. But I give Cleveland definitely the hitting edge. But when you have the hitter with the better numbers facing the team that hits better, I'd have to go along with Brian. If I was going to bet this, I would bet an under because everything seems to be aligning that way. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, whether it's going to be cold or rainy or whatnot. But probably under would be the way to go. Both bullpens are in good shape, and the better pitchers facing the better lineup.
Yeah, I mean, if this one won't be one I bet. It was a little bit too expensive. I would take the Tigers here. I just, Ciccone last time out had like what you would consider to be a quote unquote good outing. Managed to go 4 innings, didn't give up any runs. 7 strikeouts was interesting, but then you realize it was against the Angels. Not, just not a very good baseball team, in my opinion. Prior to that, he's given up some big numbers. And, Framber Valdez, he's a jerk, throws at his own catcher. That was the one that really got me last year when he was clearly mad at his catcher and basically threw 99 when he was expecting a curveball. So yeah, maybe not the best dude, but he's still a pretty good pitcher. A guy that, last time out turned a little bit of a corner, 6.6 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts against the Mets. His previous start was terrible. It was one of his sort of blow up starts. So, he's had a couple of those this year for whatever, he obvious head case, right? Obvious head case. Had a start against the Twins earlier this year, complete blow up, 8 runs, 10 hits. Came out the next 5 starts, he was lights out. Had a start early May against the Red Sox, 10 runs, 9 hits, 3 innings, total blow up. The next start comes out. He's pretty good. Kind of think he's good again tonight. And then again, Slade Ciccone's just not someone that I really think should be towing the big league rubber at this point. So I would back the Tigers here. That's the way I would look at this game. All right, let's go back to the chat. Mike's given us 2 games. I wouldn't be that surprised if we hit both of these just because they were candidates for at least my parlay league. So I'm going to go to we'll start Nationals Mets. Nationals Mets to you, Brian. We'll do that one, and I may hit the other one in the best bet segment, but we'll start with you, Nats Mets. How are you seeing this one?
We've got Christian Scott on the mound for the Mets, Jake Irvin for Washington. The Mets are about a 135 favorite, total of 10. Mets played the Yankees pretty well. They look like the excitement of bringing up Ewing and a couple of the other guys are starting to pay off. Let me check if they're still the worst team in baseball from a WRC plus situation. No, the Boston Red Sox have tied them, both with an 85, which is crazy for Boston to have an 85 in that ballpark they're playing in. But yeah, Scott's a guy I like, but he's a 135 favorite here, and I don't know if I want to lay that. Irvin's a guy I'm looking to fade. The total's 10 here. What kind after the Mets play the Yankees, is there any kind of letdown here? I don't know. As much as I like Scott, I don't want to lay the 135 on the road, and the total of 10 tells you that the ball is going to be flying here. Washington's been very good offensively all season long. I don't know what to make of this one. It's about what I would think. I would have played Scott at 120. Don't think we're ever going to get there. So I'm probably not interested in this one.
Muted.
I am muted. I thought I unmuted myself.
One tip. I don't know whoever told you to mute yourself back between each one. Don't do it anymore because you're always muting yourself, and really you're not doing anything that's going to bother each of us. So
yeah, that's probably true. I was
might be
told,
flatulating. We don't know.
I was told by Kelly, so you can blame her. We will openly blame Kelly on the show. That
blame her for
when
everything.
I am doing multiple things, looking at my phone because I'm using my phone as a screen, all that stuff, that I would hit the mic or hit the table and it would produce feedback. So that is why I was muting myself. Now, maybe it doesn't do that. I actually have a nice a setup that has I've put a towel under my stuff to like reduce the noise because I think I was hitting the table. So if it's not doing it, then yeah, I won't mute myself anymore. But that was because I was getting told that I was creating a lot of like.
You mentioned that before, so I was aware of that. I've got all my things I'm looking at, and nobody's ever complained about me. Nobody's ever complained about Brandon because he's got stuff on his desk, I'm sure. And he's looking at different things. So
yeah, I think I moved when I moved to
I have girls on my desk.
Different room, carpet under. Like I do think the having something that reduces the noise helps it out. But I took the mic and elevated it a little bit so it's not like flat onto the table. So hey, maybe that stuff's working.
Girls.
Maybe that stuff's working and it's not creating noise. But there was a time where we would do shows and she'd be texting me, mute yourself. I could hear you. I could hear you playing with your phone. I'm like, how? That is insane. Like, what are you, an owl? How do you hear me playing with my phone over here? Like, so anyway, that's the reason I mute myself. And then the mic, I can't really see the light from like this angle because I have the mic tilted toward me. So it's green when it's on, it's red when it's off. But if I can't see it, anyway, just way off topic right there. But that is why I try to mute myself when I am not speaking. I will speak on this game for a minute. I do think I'm sorry. I wanted to go to Tokyo Brandon first. TB, Nats, Mets, you've been great on Nationals totals since the beginning of the year. And this sort of feels like another one of those spots where you've got the Nats, they're an underdog, maybe a little bit bigger the underdog than they should be. And now there's some value. So how are you going to get into Mets Nationals?
Yeah, I'll make it real quick and pass it to you, Adam, because you probably have more actionable information than I do. All I'm going to say is that I have the Nats ranked number 3 in hitting in Major League Baseball right now. In current form doesn't mean they're the third best team. It means in current form, where I have the Mets 11. Nats bullpen, not good. Mets bullpen, top 10. And starting pitcher, I got Jake Irvin, not very high at all. And I got Christian Scott, fairly mediocre. So over would be the only way I could go in this. Either whether it be a Nats team total over, a Nats first 5 over, or just a game total over. But probably should be an over, I think. But the Mets bullpen is pitching really well, so I'll probably stay off it.
Yeah, I think the only way I would go would be Nats plus 1.5. And if the Mets took more money, it really just comes down to me thinking that the Mets it really shouldn't be laying premium prices to anyone at this point. They have played a little bit better. We'll give them credit. They've played better. Really impressive result yesterday for them to come all the way back and steal that game from the Yankees, which meant they took 2 of 3 in the Subway Series, and now they are 5-1 in their last 6 games. Of course, that follows a pretty good road trip where they went out to the West Coast and went 5-4. So I do think the Mets are playing better ball, but they come off of that win, Subway Series, crazy win, big comeback. I don't know. I just don't think the Nats on their home ball field should be able to catch a 1.5 at the price that I'd be looking at, which would be like better than minus 130. Where it's priced right now, minus 135, it's a little expensive. But if the Mets were to take money, which we've seen them do, suddenly the Nats might come into play. So that is that was one I was looking at. I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm probably going to talk about your other game at some point before the end of the show.
Let me ask you real quick, if you don't mind. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interject and be rude, but the bullpen would be my concern. Are you concerned about the Nats bullpen?
Here's the thing. I'm always concerned about the Nats bullpen, but the Nats bullpen is priced into every number. So when they make a price for the Nationals, when they make a price for the Rockies or some of these teams that maybe the Twins is a better example this year because the Rockies bullpen has improved. Their bullpen being bad is priced in. And as someone betting that game or betting that team, you've got to know that it might get crazy at the end of the game. But it's something that you should have already taken that into consideration. And then when you bet on the Nationals, you have to do it in the manner where you're like, listen, I'm taking a 1.5. Yes, I might get stuck in the 7th or 8th inning with a guy that isn't Mariano Rivera on the mound, and I'm just going to have to hope that he's got enough stuff to keep this close. It's something that you've taken into consideration already. They have a bullpen because they've been at the bottom of the league all year. The books know. Everyone already knows this. It's known. So I think you have settled on that already, where it's like that's part of the reason you're getting a plus 1.5 though at that price. Part of the reason they're an underdog every day. So I think you just weigh that in. Yep. Brian, I'll go to you. What are you looking at for the parlay here?
Good. We're running short on time. I'm sorry I brought that thing up about the microphone. I'm going to take a look at San Francisco at Arizona. Robbie Ray, the lefty, going against Zach Gallen. This is something I've talked about in the past. When teams leave Colorado, it's a totally different environment. Now, they are going to Arizona, which is still a good hitter's environment. But when you leave Colorado, it throws off your swing a little bit. And I'm not a Zach Gallen fan. He started the season better than we thought, but in the last couple of weeks, he's really struggled the last few starts. And I can't understand why San Francisco, which to me has the better starting pitcher, is somewhat of a sizable underdog here. San Francisco is a team that started hitting a little bit. I like the moves that they've been making. No, they've had a disappointing season, no doubt about it. But to get San Francisco in this game in the upwards of the 120 range, I'm even seeing a 125 out there. I like San Francisco. We'll go with plus 120. And they're the better team, and Arizona's got to deal with leaving Colorado. San Francisco is just in Oakland, another good hitting team, hitting environment. So we'll see how this goes. But I think San Francisco is deserving of a play here as the underdog.
TB, anything for you in Giants D-backs? We're doing fine on time. We'll be all right. Giants D-backs.
I'll make it quick because is that your parlay leg, Brian?
That'll be my parlay leg.
Giants plus money. Okay. Sounds good. I would have to agree with Brian. The Diamondbacks have 2 more wins than the Giants. And also Zach Gallen has really good numbers against these batters, but you got to take into consideration that's when he was good. And this season, he's not good. And Robbie Ray has a better ERA than Gallen in the season. I'd have to agree with Brian on that. I think the wrong team's favored here. I don't like it enough to bet it. But situationally speaking, like Brian pointed out, yeah, I'd probably be the way I would go as well.
Makes three of us. I've said this a whole bunch on this show this year. I think the Giants are going to be very streaky. I think when they're playing poorly, it's going to compound. It's a team that's got some younger guys. It's a team that's got a very emotional college coach that came from the college ranks and almost acts more like one of the players than the coach at times. I feel like and he's like a super. Well, anything I've seen is emotional guy, emotional team. When things are going good, they are having fun in the dugout. Hip thrusting each other in the outfield. Drew Gilbert's biting someone's ear. And it's just good vibes. And when they're going poorly, it's going in the other direction. Guys are sulking, heads are down. It's just it really, if you look at them this year, they've had losing streaks, then they'll go out and win a few in a row. Then something bad will happen and they'll lose a couple. And then when they can turn the corner, they'll win a couple in a row. That's what happened over the weekend. They get that win on Saturday, 6-4 against the A's. Come out yesterday, destroy them 10-1. They hit right-handed pitching better than left-handed pitching. And as you said, TV, Zach Allen looks like he's on a little bit of a decline, getting older. Stuff doesn't look as good anymore. And of course, he's a right-handed pitcher. So I don't mind that. Brian, why don't you give me a line on both Nationals plus 1.5 and Giants while you're at it?
The Giants are plus 120. Let's go with the Nationals on the spread.
And the reason I'm going to use Nationals is I pulled up my odds screen and the Mets are actually taking some money. So I do think that this one is sort of coming back in the range here.
You can get minus 130 with Washington plus 1.5 now.
And I actually saw, we will take minus 130 for the parlay. I actually saw a minus 125 out there. So
I did too. I see a 122 at one place, but 130 is for the most part across the board.
We'll roll with that. Again, I that to me was really just about waiting for the Mets to take some money. The Mets still take money on a daily basis, even though even with the current run, they're still 6 games under 500. Just don't really agree with the price. And then I certainly don't agree with it moving further in the other direction. So we've already talked about it. My leg, Nationals plus 1.5. Brian just locked in Giants plus 130. Now we go to Tokyo Brandon to see what he's going to use to close this out.
Okay, I'll make it quick. I'm going to go to the Minnesota-Houston game. We got Rojas and Imai. And Imai has been a train wreck. He's walking almost the same number of people he's striking out. I did a free play video on this for WagerTalk's YouTube channel earlier. I did this and the Brewers game, so catch that video. And I have a 5% play out today, so grab that as well. But I like the over 9.5 in this one. I think, let's see, both bullpens rank 24th or worse in current form. Imai could give up all 9 runs himself. He's been so bad. He's one of those cocky guys that teammates don't like. He's been like that since he was in Japan. He just thinks he's the greatest, and he's kind of a jerk. And when things start rolling down, it gets in his head. So I don't think he's going to recover. Rojas is the X factor, but what is he going to be, an opener, or is he going to go 3 innings? I don't know. Woods Richardson was the listed guy, and now it's switched. Anyways, 2 horrible bullpens, 1 good lineup, and 2 horrible starters. Give me the over 9.5 for this one.
I will point out, I had a chance to watch Rojas come in the other day, and he looked like they gave him a few innings, and he looked like he was pretty good considering what they have there. I think they're going to give him a chance to go a few innings here, but I
probably
like
won't go deep, which is why I like the over.
I would love to find a way to fade Imai here. So whether it be Twins, again, goes back to the point that you sort of made, TB. Like, if you bet the Twins, you have to understand that you're going to have to survive some innings with their bullpen and hope it lines up in your favor. Not that the Astros have some sort of lockdown bullpen either. So maybe that's a offset. You could go. I'm with you, Brian. I've been impressed with what Rojas has done. I thought he was throwing the ball great at St. Paul. He, of course, is a guy that I believe came over in a trade with the Blue Jays. I know the Blue Jays at one point in time had high hopes for him. So I don't mind him either. The Just Baseball guys had a good podcast. This is over a month ago about Amai and how he was really struggling to acclimate to life in the US. Goes back to a lot of what Tokyo Brandon was saying. Like he was complaining about the meal time, like all these things where it was like big time red flag stuff. And what TB is saying tracks. He seems like maybe a little bit of a prickly pear, if you will, for lack of a better term, like wants things on his own terms and has struggled to just basically adapt from to how things are done in America as opposed to how things are done in the NPB. And then but the very, very big issue is the total lack of command, the walks, pitching himself into trouble. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Mental.
Even against
he
the
didn't
Twins.
do that. He didn't do that here, so it's mental. But you also have to consider the ball is different too. The texture and the size of the ball is different. So
the laces are different.
Yeah, the laces are different too. The first year guys always struggle from Japan, but the second year they catch on. But Roki's not catching on this year, so I'm
He looked good last night.
Anyway.
He looked real good.
I did look good yesterday.
Yeah, that was
yesterday.
I think he'd be a great middle reliever. But anyway, sorry to steal your.
No. That's a great point because, and I think that's the sort of grain of salt portion here with Amai. If he just comes at, let's say he's feeling good today, he might go out and strike out 10. Like he does have that kind of stuff. It's just, we saw it when he faced the A's earlier this year, where he was just electric. 9 strikeouts, looked incredible. But I think if you were like, okay, it's either going to be that or it's going to be the guy that comes out and walks 6 guys and is a total head case and is out by the 3rd or 4th inning, I'd say it's more likely that. Like more times it's going to be that than the dude that showed up and struck out 10 A's and threw 6 shutout innings. So TB, I'm with you. Maybe some runs here. I also like the Twins. That was one that was kind of on my radar, if you will, for today. I haven't locked anything in yet. I do like some stuff though. So I will have some plays. I thought about a 5%er. Maybe I will do a 5%er. I haven't decided because there's 5 or 6 games that I'm pretty close on. I just want to see how the market develops, see if I get a better price on anything. Got a better price on the Nationals. So I put that in for the show. That might be a play for me. Go ahead, Tokyo Brandon. What were you?
Quick question. Do you guys know what the status of Woods Richardson is? Because he was listed as a starter and then got pulled.
I think he's done. I think they'll make him.
I think he's done too, but they've been putting him out there.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a good question, TB, because are you saying is it going to be Woods Richardson behind Rojas?
Yeah,
maybe.
Is Rojas going to be an opener, or do you know?
I don't think Rojas is going to open per se, but I would not be that shocked if Rojas went 3, 4, and then you saw Woods Richardson in a relief role. It's very possible. Okay. What was your? So I mean, I guess if you're looking at this, you want Woods Richardson out there if you like.
Heck yeah,
Brian. What was the price on his over for the parlay?
The bullpens is really the crux of my cap. The bullpens are just awful right now.
Oh yeah, they're bad. We're looking at the total is 9.5, slightly to the under. So you're laying maybe 105 to the over 9.5.
You would need a straight jacket if you bet an under in this game. Look, it could come under
half a run since the overnight. So it
could be a 3-0 game, but man, these teams are bad.
I don't mind that, TB, because again, I don't think Rojas is coming out, even if he's pitching well. I mean, he's not going to. I don't think you're going to get more than 4 or 5 innings out of him.
Right.
They could. Right. Let's say he only goes 3. They could throw Woods Richardson behind him for 3 innings, and then it's would you like your? Do you like your over more now or less? Probably more.
Absolutely more.
kind of feel like if you have I kind of feel like if you like the Twins, you almost have to play first 5 just to take that out of the equation a little bit.
Probably.
I do want to point out they had 5 guys in the Twins bullpen that all had to pitch yesterday. So that's the second of a back-to-back for that. So that's another thing for that. Yeah. The over makes sense.
Now watch, it's going to be a 1-0 game.
I mean, listen, if that happens, you just straight up tip that great cap you're wearing right there, TB.
Yep.
That happens.
Yep. I'll throw my hat all the way to America.
Yeah.
I do not think that this is going to be a 1-0 game. Yeah, I'd be very, very surprised. All right, TB's got a 5%er. Brian and I are both going to have stuff on the site. The double play package is up on our page, as well as a bunch of good long-term specials. Real quick, Brian, anything in the playoffs for you tonight?
Yeah, 4% winner on the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. 4.5 point underdog wins by 30 or whatever. Yeah, it's 21-11 now. Yeah, 21-11 now in the playoffs for NHL and NBA, and loving some games that are coming up. Don't know what I'm going to use today. I did pass in baseball yesterday. So yeah, a fresh look today, and let's get back on the winning track.
Yeah, I think we've got some winners. There's a bunch out there for you, so check out the WagerTalk site. We'll leave you with a 3-teamer. I'm going Nationals plus 1.5, minus 130. Brian Leonard's going to go with Giants plus 120, giving us a little odds in the parlay. Tokyo Brandon's got Astros Twins over 9.5, minus 105. It's the 3-teamer for today. Help us out. Grab a couple of those double plays. TV's got a 5%er. He's been red hot. And the three of us will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Have a great day, everyone.